Very pleased. If you consider my 5-month foray into this campaign and the fact that the leading candidate spent 4.5 times what I did, and his name identification was already 70% before the election, I would say that we have an excellent chance, and I think in the face of all that, the electorate still voted 52% for change. So we feel very, very good about it. I feel very, very good about it.
Are you hopeful to get an endorsement by Representative Foster?
I am, and I've had a informal discussion with him, and we're continuing to talk, and I'm very confident that irrespective of that most of his supporters are going to vote for Waller on the 26th.
What are those some of those?
27th, excuse me.
What are some of those clear differences between you and Reeves now that it's down to you two, and you each have to make a case to those Republican voters?
A lot of differences. He says that everything is fine with education, and the facts are that we have over 1,000 teacher vacancies. We've got, I think, one of the most obtuse systems in the country when you've got the state superintendent of education is the highest paid, and our teachers is some of the lowest paid. It's backwards, it's upside down, it's dysfunctional. The assessment tests are a bridge to nowhere. You can't evaluate them against anyone else. The teachers are frustrated, and I think that's demonstrated in the numbers that are exiting, the over 1,000 vacancies that we have, the fact that Mississippi has lost population significantly over the past 10 years. In fact, between 2010 and 2016, we lost 35,000 people. That's equivalent of the city of Tupelo. We've lost population throughout the last 4 years. I think that our economy, they would say that the economy is doing well. I would say the facts are abstractly different. If you want to go from the gross domestic product, every state in this country has had a significant economic increase since the recession of 2008. The United States economy grew in the last 10 years over 22%. Every state in the South around Mississippi is double digits. Mississippi was 2%. I think that's unacceptable. There are less people working in Mississippi today than there were 11 years ago, and that's according to real statistics, United States Department of Labor. So our economy is not functioning in an appropriate, in a growing manner, in a way that reflects the rest of the country, much less the other states in the South. If you take our healthcare system, we've got 31 hospitals in danger of closing. Some would say that's good. I would say that's unacceptable. I think we have, with the bankruptcies and hospital closures and combinations that we've had in the past few years, I think we've reached the level that we cannot stand to lose any more hospitals. And so, faced with the decision mark of closing hospitals or finding some relief, I'm going to find some relief. I think I'm a right-to-life conservative, and I think access to health care is a right-to-life issue for our citizens. Nobody's going to move there. No business is going to operate there. And in a pragmatic way, just like Mike Pence did in Indiana, I think we can actually put conservative principles into our welfare system that we hadn't had. I think that moving up the bar to 138% of poverty line, I think we need to assist those that are trying to work every day to get quality health care. I think we need to provide needed income for the hospitals so that we can have healthy hospitals to treat our citizens. And then lastly, on roads and bridges, the special session, in my opinion, was a joke. I think that the lottery, the money from the lottery, which hasn't even begun to be generated, and we're already over a year into it, the capped at $80 billion a year, won't even repair the bridges. We've got 400 bridges that need repair or replacing, and to say that's a solution for that is wrong, absolutely wrong. And so we've got to have something. Every state in the nation practically has had a major highway program recently. Alabama, it was the latest. I say let's do the Reagan plan. Let's do something where out-of-state motorists pay, where people that aren't working pay, where people that sell drugs have to buy gas, user fees. It doesn't add a penny to the national debt. It doesn't add a penny to anyone's income tax. Moving to a flat tax, I think, is good. I want to do a tax swap. This plan that was offered by Charles Busby has been approved by the Tax Institute. The only plan that I know that anyone's even offered, and I think it offers the opportunity for us to have not only repair our bridges, not only repair our roads, but also some new coverage that we desperately need around the state. We've got places where the right-of-ways purchased, the plans are sitting on, and we've got no money to fill them, and to say that everything is good is a misstatement at the least. So that's what separates me from Tate. And I think that the people, given those options, and as we focus toward the election, I think a majority of Mississippians are going to be interested in moving this state ahead.
In terms of strategy and numbers, you mentioned Foster and whether or not you might get that endorsement, and you think his supporters will likely come to you versus Reeves. But how do you drum up new numbers for those who are eligible to vote in this runoff who maybe stayed at home and just didn't feel motivated to turn out? Is that part of the strategy moving forward, is motivating people to come out?
It's a new day, it's a new race, and we're going to look to recruit all possible voters.
He's been criticizing you already on the gasoline increase idea and the Medicaid expansion. You know that he's probably going to come back with more, having so much money in campaign coffers. How do you face that? How do you try to oppose that?
I think it's the facts. I think given the road situation the way it is, I think people are not going to accept that. I think people that live in communities where the hospital is at risk of closing, they're not going to accept that. They want to keep their facility. They want to keep it healthy. So it's no problem with me. I'm ready to go head to head with him and debate and talk about the facts and the issues. And I think being able to articulate the issues, I think the majority of Mississippians are going to vote for moving the state forward.
How does the strategy change, if at all, in terms of directly calling out the differences between the two of you? He has talked about Hood a lot. You have talked about the issues and not as much about Tate, but now that it's just the two of you, do you anticipate having to more clearly tell voters explicitly, this is how I differ from Tate Reeves?
I think I'm going to talk about the same issues. I think the issues resonate with the voters, and I think that's what's going to bring us to victory.
How are you going to overcome that fundraising, I guess, disadvantage? He has millions of dollars. How are you going to overcome that within the next couple of weeks?
Well, we're raising money, and we will have enough money to adequately take our message forward. I'm not looking for all of the out-of-state money. I'm not looking for special interest. I think we've got around 800 contributors. I think 95% of them are from Mississippi. And I think that those people are going to rise up. They're invested in the campaign, and that's not going to be a problem.
You got any donations in the last 24 hours?
Just online donations that we're hitting this morning. I think we hit close to 20,000 in very not large amounts this morning, just on online contributions. I think people are excited. I think they like the prospects that we have, and I think that the campaign, I think people are ready to move forward.
Joe O'Brien's very popular. How big of a factor is his endorsement of your opponent?
I don't think it's a factor at all. I think Mississippians are very independent, and I think that they'll consider everything. And I think when they look at the issues, I think the majority of them will vote to move in a different direction.